Hello and welcome to the Wild Wild West podcast. My name is Richie Riche. Yes, we are late. However, I had my son's birthday today, and he also wasn't feeling very well, and so there's a bit of let's just call it an unplanned bump in the road. I'd like to thank everyone who has continued to stick around, and hopefully will be jumping into the show for us a little bit later on.
That's life, man. That's just
Yeah,
life.
it is what it is, right? So we are doing our very best to try to keep this thing going. We are going to have a more consistent schedule. Today was a bit of a rogue one-off, unfortunately, and it is what it is. Now, oh, we got a whole bunch of comments flowing in here. This is great. Got some folks coming in, rolling in on the Raiders side. That's fantastic. We will do our best to cover off the Raiders side of things here as well on the show. As you may have gathered from the graphic there, this is a preseason preview. We are going to go ahead and delve right into each of our teams and who we're going up against, and a few maybe little tidbits that we're all interested in seeing in the game. DZ, how are you doing tonight?
Good, man. I think you and Nav were dealing with some pretty gnarly weather, and for the one day in Mid Atlantic where I live, the weather's pretty chill. It's just hot. Just getting ready and excited to kick this season off, and we get to pretend or legitimately be excited about preseason for the next 3 weeks. What is that?
Barn burner. This
Oh
is
yeah, you had that last time, huh?
yeah. This is one of my. I got another one that I'll have for next show that I'll show on screen as well. It's called Embers. I'm a big fan of the amber beer. And it's like a really, really dark, rich amber beer. It is spectacular. Like it's kind of on the pricier side, so I don't get it as often. But
Right.
it is it is actually worth the buy. It is pretty awesome. Um, but correct me if I'm wrong, DZ. This is really one of those times of the year where it kind of starts to really hit you just how like we're actually in football season right now. This is like for me, I don't know if this is the same for you, but preseason game one is kind of where the season itself, aside from the off season stuff, you like talking about that, who's going to do what, who you're seeing, whatever. But I mean like the actual season where like it's like this is real football. This is when stuff actually matters. This is where decisions are made. This is how teams are built, that sort of thing. I don't know if you feel the same way, but preseason game one for me is kind of that day or that game, as it were.
I'm sure it will be when it kicks off tomorrow night.
Yeah,
But for me, it's like when I get to see the starters out there, and
yeah,
I think I think for most teams, I don't know about yours, but I think 15 starters are not playing tomorrow. Like Jim's going to hold them out, and I think for the Broncos, I think Sean says, or I think a bunch of the Raiders aren't even flying to the game. I mean, our Broncos. I mean, sorry.
yeah.
So I'm looking forward to it. It's like I'm still like it's like I'm in limbo, I guess. I'm like, okay, let's just see how this goes, and
Yeah, yeah.
because I know tomorrow is going to be a lot of these UDFAs and backups. They're all fighting to make the 53 or even the practice squad, and I'm sure just like every team's got certain positional groups that you're watching, and I am especially watching a few of them.
Well, just for funsies, I'll just kind of quickly hint at it. The Broncos are onto our fourth string center.
I did see that. I was hoping you'd bring that up because
Like it's
I've
like
got
you can't
got
make that
notes
up. You know what I
somewhere.
mean? Like
Yeah, what's up,
you
Sacktown? How's
can't
it
make
going,
that
buddy?
up. It's like, the Broncos were going along for a while there, and it was like no issues, no problems, whatever. And then all of a sudden, like within like a two practice or like kind of two camp day span, it's like starter down, backup down, third string down, and it's like, oh,
The
okay,
fourth guy they were having, what's his name, cross train, I think.
Quinn Miners.
Yes, yeah. Which Doesn't seem
Well,
like it'd be a bad
I
thing.
don't know if you know this, but that was one of his core positions in Whitewater Rapids, where his college was, and he was also practicing at the NFL level uh, in his sophomore year in the NFL because he no, thank you, Robert. Um, uh, he was practicing actually in his sophomore year in that kind of COVID era there, the center position, just because the team had said that while he did well at guard and they really liked him there, that they wanted players to have that positional versatility on the team. And so he has been actually every season been like polishing his center game for a moment just like this. The problem is he started basically playing at an all pro level at the guard position, and then the team's like, you're not sniffing the center position.
Right. I mean, but it's not like you guys don't have the guards to throw. I mean, I think I peeked at your guys' unofficial depth chart, which, by the way, they're all BS right now.
Yeah,
But
yeah, they are.
they had
Yeah.
Palczewski like I think in the third string or something, which didn't make sense to me. I don't know.
Palcho's been ebbing and flowing, actually, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, like if he needed to take over Quinn Miners, he could do that.
Palcho could take over for Quinn Miners. Palcho could take over for McGlinchey. He could take over for Powers. He could take over for Wattenberg. Like, that's the thing. Most people don't understand. Like, this dude is like, there's a reason why the team said, like, you're just not leaving the building.
Right. Yeah,
like,
you've got
yeah, like, you're just not leaving the building.
They've got an offensive line. I mean, PFF is like all over X is like crowned you guys number one offensive line. And there's some Raiders. I mean, why do I keep mixing them up? But there's some Broncos fans that are like pushing back and they're like, no, please don't do this. And I think like
I would be one of those, by the way.
Right, I know that.
I'd be one of those. Like, don't sugarcoat it. Like, that's just like, I don't want to be going in. I want the team to have to feel that they have something that they need to work up towards. You never want a team to go in just thinking they can be complacent, right?
Right. I get totally get that, man. Yeah. So PFF is like putting out all their like rankings, which talking to offensive linemen, they don't even like the fact that PFF ranks O-line. Like they were saying like, okay, it makes sense for other positions, but for the offensive line, like they were like, no thanks. And I forget who mentioned there was another grading system, and I guess O-linemen are just like, you can't properly grade us, but you know.
Well, I don't know if you heard Sean Payton's interview or caught any snippets of it over the last couple of days. One of the like beat reporters in Denver was like, so what do you think about all these rankings and stuff like that, like, about the offensive line and stuff? He goes, oh, cool, so tell me the objective ranking, and I swear if you tell me PFF, I'm going to lose it.
Did he really?
Oh yeah, he just like yeah. Dagger through the heart, right? Like,
it's kind of a shame that it's become the norm. Like, I know we reference it a lot because that's what we have to go by to reference it, to kind of set an example, right? Like I would rather use them than Madden because all the kids get worked up for Madden. What does it say? Oh,
well, I mean, there's some benefits depending on what else was part of that outfit, Robert. I mean, I'm just just saying that there's some potential benefit to that outfit. We'll leave it at that. But no, it was a really remarkable statement because it was the first time I've ever heard a head coach basically go right, like, dead on at one of the analysts and basically shut down, like, don't you dare mention PFF, like period.
I wish our coach would say that.
Yeah, so
I wish Jim.
Yeah,
Jim goes up on the presser, man, and I swear, like, half the time I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Like, his pressers, I'm just like, dude, what? Like, you're losing me, goofball. He'll say one thing, and then a player will say the complete opposite thing, which I'll talk about. Like, real quick is like the Chargers are dealing with Slater, right? What did we talked about it? What's up, Ardell? We talked about it last week, and I'm like, oh yeah, he's fine, but they're still holding him out. I think this would be like the 4th day he's missed at practice,
Yep.
and right before Harbaugh's like, it's not the same knee or it's not a patella thing. So Jim had a presser. Literally right after him, Slater goes up for the first time to do a presser since we've seen him. It talks about his knee, which was great information, and said, yes, it's the same knee. And he says he's like he felt something didn't feel right. So what I'm getting, they're going to take this super slow, but it's going to be an annoying process for them, for the fans, for everybody, that you don't know if Slater's like ready to rock. And yeah, man, not good news. And they haven't even mentioned putting Alt over there. They've had Pipkins, who is quote unquote fan favorite. Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah.
So he's I don't know. And the whole thing, like he talked about 300 days of rehab. He said some other stuff like, I can finally get in my stance and not feel pain that he said he's been feeling since 2022. And I'm like, thinking about it, I like to research things when I buy things, right? Like if I'm going to buy a vehicle
Yeah.
or an appliance, whatever. And maybe I'm a little anal at it, but I go in depth. Well, guess what? I'm like, did the Chargers, did they like do their due diligence in this guy before giving him $114 million? Because that they gave him that, and then his knee went, right? And it was a patella tendon tear.
Yep.
And he said he's been dealing with this since 2022, having pain in his knee. Like, I would have thought they would be like, before the contract, they would have been like, hey, dude, let's go get like MRIs, get the whole thing done and checked out, both your knees, before we sign on the dotted line. And I'm guessing they didn't, or they're, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, this is what I don't get. And like, half the fan base is like, he's fine, he'll be ready. The other half fan base is like, Alt needs to be our future left tackle. Slater needs to go to the right or be traded or something. You know what I mean? So,
well,
I'm
you and
like,
I have had this conversation before.
yeah, of course, yeah,
Like no, about Alt and Slater, right?
yeah,
Like I remember you and I having this chat. When was it? Last year, the year before, when Alt just came into the league, right? When you just drafted him.
yeah.
Remember, it was like you, me, and Jack, if I'm not mistaken, Jack Kenna.
Well, yeah, because Kenna's a big Notre Dame guy.
He's a huge Notre Dame guy, right?
Yeah.
And so, he was like salivating over the fact that you guys got.
And I wasn't
right?
too hip to it or familiar with him. And then looking at it, right? Yes, we've had this conversation, and then I just found out. Taylor, we talked about this, I think, last week as well. Taylor Lewan with Bussin' with the Boys. He's been making his tour. I think he went to the Broncos. He went to the Raiders. But he was talking to one of our Charger guys saying, like, when Alt was coming out in the draft, he did not want to go to the Chargers because he knew they already had a left tackle.
Right.
He's like, I want to go and play left tackle somewhere. Well, the Chargers literally drafted him, and he had to switch to right tackle. What does it say? You mean Jack Crimson, Great Crimson Sun? Anyways, yeah, man. Who knows? I don't know. I'm not too thrilled about this offensive line thing. And then they're still having a open competition. It's a 5-man battle for left guard right now. And we're a couple weeks away from the season. I'm glad they're doing their due diligence, Richie, but all this could have been solved in the offseason with the amount of money they had. They still have they still have $40 million. And yeah, so
well, it's interesting because so I got a question for you on this front as well. All right. So you have Slater, who, by the way, had the worst of the two injuries between him and Alt, right? Like his injury, like Slater's injury was in a different tier.
Yeah,
and so
a patella tear for anybody in the chat.
Right.
He had a patella tear, which is the worst an NFL player could suffer, but it's by far even worse for a big man like a trenches guy off the line.
Right. And so, sorry, go ahead.
Well, and I was just going to put out a fact real quick.
Yeah.
So just on rough estimates of players who've suffered this injury, it usually takes a second off season for them to gain their explosiveness back. Okay, so the orthopedic or whatever the surgery is getting better every year, but it takes a while for them to get the explosiveness back. And you're also, it's also the mental. I think it's, what is it? It's like 55 to 57% of players of a return rate. So it's a low return rate after this injury, right? So he did 300 days of rehab. There's a lot invested in him, so they made sure he's literally just at 12 months from when this happened. So I don't expect him to be at the caliber that he was prior to injury. Who knows? He might. Yeah.
Hold on that.
Yeah.
Let's give the audience a bit of kind of context here. So there's what was that percentage of return rate?
55 to 57% in the NFL.
Okay. The NFL return rate for an ACL tear. So again, ACLs used to be like, that was career ending, basically.
Yeah, they're like PB and jelly now. They're
right.
every day. Yeah.
So listen to this. The new return rate right now is 62% to 82%.
Yeah, wild.
Wild numbers. Like,
they've gotten good. Good.
And that percentage is actually leaning way more towards the 82% than it is the 62% for the vast majority of people. And so, I mean, just process that though, right? 82% return rate from like one of the main kind of mobility components in your legs, right? Because that's the ACL, MCL, and LCL, right? And so
there's a PCL in there somewhere. Where's the PCL?
There is. Yeah, there is, but it's wild, like absolutely wild, right? In terms of that's your return rate from that injury, and you just gave the patella, which is like a huge step down in terms of
I remember when I was like researching this, or people were talking about it, they say that the patella, it's got the healing, like I think an ACL is like 9 months, but we're seeing guys come back even quicker. But they say something about the patella, it's like it's at 9 months to 12 months. They say like, yeah, you feel good and ready to rock, which Slater looked good up until that day in San Diego where he's like, I felt something. They say it's where that injury is tough to get oxygen to that muscle or that tendon or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And it gives a false sense. Now, I'm sure he's gotten MRIs, and I'm sure they're doing that right now. But, in his presser, he also stated he didn't have a date of when he would return to practice, which is not something.
That's not good.
No, that's not good. Yeah, we don't want to hear that. We want to be like, oh, yeah, you'll be back out there, Monday or Tuesday when you guys kick off in preparation for, I believe it's the Niners or whatever, which we probably have a joint practice with them as well.
Right. So let's just project a little bit here. Do you think that Alt is going to basically latch onto that left tackle job now, and it's basically his to lose?
We would have saw something in camp. They have not moved Alt or touched him. They know something. Alt's like, you would think that they would be like, all right, Joe, go over. No, they have Trey Pipkins and Branson Taylor playing left tackle, which
that's crazy.
And Branson Taylor is a guy that was a 6th-round pick last year. Didn't start. He only started one game, and that was against the Broncos in a meaningless game for the Chargers, which yes and no is meaningless. I don't know. I guess he played decent at guard, but prior to the season, they cut him and then signed him back to the practice squad. So who do we got in the backstage? And anyways, yeah, man, they must know something I don't know. But look, it's nerve-wracking, Richie, to say the least, because this is not the season to F around and try to run it back with this same sort of offensive line, which I'm not saying is going to be the case, but I mean, I was looking at a strength of schedule for our division. Everybody knows, right? You know how crazy it is. I think it's like let's see. Chiefs have the fifth, toughest strength of schedule. Chargers sixth, Raiders seventh, Broncos 15th. That's going based off of last year's opponents. And I just know that we're playing 8 teams that were in the playoffs last year. So we need to get this O-line buttoned up. And like I have a worryometer meter I drew just in my notes, going from green to like red.
Yeah.
And it's somewhere in the middle right now because I know we have a couple weeks, but dude, it's like there's some fans that are like, it's cool, don't worry, dude. And the other fans are like, yeah, this is bullshit. But anyways.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. I totally understand. So, my general take on this is if I'm the Chargers head coach and I step in and replace Jim, just for the sake of argument here, one, you can guarantee that I'm playing some kind of like smash mouth style football because that's just kind of my brand. But when I look at Alt, he would be my left tackle at this point, and I'm not even thinking too hard about it.
Dude, he's one of my favorite players right now. Like I'm
yeah.
worried, Richie, and I know we have to introduce somebody, but
yes, we do.
I'm worried that like they're not going to be able to retain him when it comes to free agency. They have to get him okay. Anyways,
I agree. No, I agree, because right now, why would Alt want to stay on the team if he's not going to be treated as a premium player necessarily?
Left tackle money,
etc. I agree. Yep. And I think that's a huge risk for your team. And if Slater can't stay healthy, your team will ride out his contract for a couple of years and eventually have to probably make the decision of whether or not to bite the bullet. And on top of that, it will be easier for you to find a right tackle than an elite left tackle at the NFL.
Potentially have 2 right now.
Yes.
Being developed, which is good news, but that doesn't help us right now.
No. Let's go ahead and bring in our Raiders representative coming in, stepping in here. Raiders Rebel, welcome to the show.
What's good, everybody? How's everybody?
What's up, dude? How you been, man?
I've been good. Be better tomorrow when we get to actually see what's going on with this team a little bit. So
a lot of excitement for the Raiders Nation, man.
Yeah.
So, lots to catch up on. There's been lots of news. We had some benchings on the Raiders that happened last week. I don't know about you. I'm a kind of a fan of that style. That's kind of my jam, which is, we have a certain brand that we want to, like a standard that we want to keep the team up to. I'm all for that, actually, if I'm going to be honest. I think when you had an undisciplined team of your previous coach, you have to almost make up for it a little bit as the new incumbent coming in and set the tone and the standard. Curious as to your thoughts even on that. And by the way, welcome back to the show.
Appreciate you guys having me. Salute everybody in the chat. But man, I like it. It shows who's steering the ship, right? Who the captain is. And, if you have any questions, go talk to Clint Kubiak, it seems like. Right. But on the other hand, there's 2 different sides to it, because you had Jonah Laulu and Caleb Rogers get into it. And from what I heard, it was a lot more physical. Punches may or may not have been thrown, but it was a little bit more physical between the offensive line and the defensive line. And there was no consequences that I know of. Rogers has not been practicing, but from what I heard is because, he got a small injury and they were just, precautionary, trying to make sure everything was good. No reason to put him out there. So then, it's the Mendoza show pretty much for the, with the ones the whole day. So, I don't know. Was it really that big of a deal? Or, you like to see fire from your quarterback. You like to see it, from Max Crosby. You can't have your best player, not practice the way he wants to practice. I think that's a problem, but you can't have your best player possibly injuring your quarterback. So I like the stance they took on it. They sat, I guess both players finished practice. I got reports that Max Crosby sat out for a couple plays because he was disrupting practice. So, it kind of two different ways. How do you sit Max Crosby out for disrupting practice, but continue with Kirk Cousins and then not have him out there the next day, where they were out there with drills, just not the 7-on-7 and 11-on-11. So, the whole scenario just seems kind of odd to me.
So Raider Rebel, correct me if I'm wrong. I read or I saw something that this actually was Max doing, like because Cousins had the red jersey on, and I guess he hit Kirk once or something, and I guess that kind of, I don't know what happened because nobody's got filmed, but then I guess he hit him again, and that's when Kirk Cousins was like, "Hey man, WTF," and then they just
right. Yeah. You're trying to injure me before the season even starts. He is 38 years old, right? So and my biggest thing is, where's the offensive line in all this, right? Isn't your job as an offensive lineman, you get paid to protect your quarterback? Yeah. Why is your quarterback sticking up for himself? To me, it shows that our offensive line is soft. Like, who is going to be that dude? Because
Linderbaum should have been the one in Max's space.
Linderbaum, JPJ, DJ Glaze, somebody should have been in there. Boom, Max Crosby. I'm sorry you're Max Crosby, but that's my quarterback, right? That's my job.
I agree 100,000%.
And somebody needs to put Max Crosby in his place sometime. You know what I mean? Like, it's never happened. He's that guy. He comes out, he does what he wants in practice, and he's never had anybody on the team that's, come in on a winning organization or knows what it's like to win. And now you have Nakobe Dean, that's won Super Bowls with the Eagles. You have Quay Walker, who's come in, been to the playoffs with the Packers. So, you got Kirk Cousins coming in. That's won games. That's been to more playoffs than Max Crosby.
Minnesota is hating life right now because of that decision.
Yeah. And, to me, it just, and the Sam Darnold decision.
Yeah, that one too.
Let's go with Sam Darnold over this rookie, and then he wins the Super Bowl. But, to me, somebody on this offensive line needs to step up and be the alpha, right? Somebody needs to take charge and say, this ain't going on in practice. This is not happening, right? This is my offense. I'm the leader of this offense, and show you're the leader. Step up and take charge, because I know there's a lot of teams in the NFL where that would have never happened, right? Top player or no player, somebody on those teams is going to step up and, be that alpha dog. And I think somebody on this offensive line needs to do that. Until they prove that, I have a lot of questions about this offensive line still.
Well, I mean, to be fair, and they're gelling. It's a new thing for them. It's the same thing kind of with the Chargers as well. Broncos, not so much. They've kind of got the continuity with the whole line. So it may take some time, but I agree with you. And if that happens in a game, you better see somebody just haymaker, whoever, the defender or whatnot. You know what I mean? Because we had that happen last season, and it was our worst. It was like the worst guy stood up for Justin. It was Bradley Bozeman, who everybody hated. But because he did that, he's saved grace for a little while, bought him some time. But thankfully, he's no longer our center.
Yeah. And you're showing something, back in the day, like guys like Lincoln Kennedy, that would have never sufficed. Richie Incognito, right? Guys like Steve Wisniewski, they would have never put up with anybody hitting their quarterback like that. Never, ever. Practice or no practice.
Oh, Incognito? Are you kidding me?
Right?
He would have picked Max up by the jersey and
Richie was gnarly. He was a nut,
dude. That guy was like 4 bricks short of a load. Like he was, but in a good way. Like when he was on your team, you wanted him to be on your team. When he was not on your team, you kind of didn't want to piss him off. So
right,
there's a great example. He would be a guy that you saw go up and start jawing with dudes that would pull crap like that against his quarterback. And by the way, he would do that even if he knew his quarterback was trash. Right.
Something I also
he played with some questionable dudes too. So like Richie Incognito did, right? But the long and the short of it is that these legit guys, and I mean legit guys, that are out there, like the proper offensive linemen. I'm going to throw Garrett Bowles, even though I've not necessarily been a huge fan of him for a long period of time. I think he does good work. I think he does put a lot of effort, but he certainly has some questionable plays where he kind of gets away with stuff a lot. But I don't know if you've ever heard him in a presser. One of the beat reporters came up to him after one of his 10-yard or 15-yard penalties, and he said, "Oh, that was an easy penalty on my part." And the reporter's like, "What do you mean?" He goes, "Oh, dude, if I didn't do that, then my quarterback is getting hurt."
Mhm.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, that's an acceptable answer. Good for you." like he said, he goes, "It was either I take a 15-yard penalty and I be the bad guy, or my quarterback's going to get killed. I opt for me being the bad guy." Was basically how that general conversation went. And I was like, that is an acceptable offensive lineman left tackle response.
Yep.
Again, like this is exactly what you're talking about, Rebel, right? Which is like, where's the
Sometimes you
leader?
got to be the bad
Yeah,
guy.
yeah. Where's the leader? Where's the dog? Where's the aggressor on
Right?
the offensive line to kind of say, you try to screw with my quarterback, you're going to be dealing with a 330-pound monster on the other side who's going to be stepping in. And guess what? If once I get involved, my other brothers on the line are going to be jumping in
Right?
with me, because if
Right?
you step up to me, you're done. So,
Yeah.
and that's the way that the offensive linemen and the defensive linemen generally work, right? You see one dude get involved, and then once another guy, then it becomes that skirmish almost all the time, like almost every time, right?
The only person I've seen that from is he's been on our practice squad for the last 3 years is Will Putnam at a Cincinnati. Like it was 2 years ago. He was playing center and they had I can't believe I just drew a blank, but the linebacker that went to the linebacker that came over from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know why I can't think of his name, but anyways, he was. That was the thing is he kept getting to the quarterback, getting
Why
to the
can't I
quarterback.
think of his name?
Yeah, because I mean
Patrick
I
Queen.
No, he was on the
he's with the
Raiders.
Patriots right now.
Kuntz? No,
oh my
not
God,
Kuntz.
I'm totally
Chat, help
blanking.
us out. What the heck is his
Nobody
name?
knows.
I like him actually.
Yeah.
James Harrison,
No, he's
No,
Chad
the
Brown.
white linebacker.
Spillane.
Robert Spillane.
Thank you, Robert Jansen. That was
Golly, man. Thank you, Robert Jensen. I don't know why I was
Yeah.
totally brain fart right there. But yeah, so they were in practice a couple years ago, and Robert Spillane, was doing that same thing. And Will Putnam was like, man, I ain't taking this, right? And he got in the face of Spillane, and it ended up pushing and shoving, and it was like the whole defense came over there. But where was the offense? The offense is like, oh, this let this one guy take on the whole entire defense. Like, so
Yeah.
there's no fire on this offensive line. And what fire we did have was JPJ, and they seem to be trying to take that away from him, right? He's not out there because he gets stupid penalties. He plays aggressive after the whistle sometimes, but that's the meanest guy we have on this offensive line, and they want him to tone it down a little bit. So, I feel bad for this offensive line. They're
I
going to
think
have
it might
to
be some controlled aggression they want him to kind of work on.
and I can understand play with controlled aggression, but it's the offensive line. You have to be violent and physical. Like that's your job.
100%.
Protect the quarterback at all costs. So
I agree.
the whole situation was just weird, and it was weird that the offensive line and defensive line got into it and didn't seem to be as much as a publicity stunt.
People are even throwing
that's the other
conspiracy
one,
theories
so.
out, like Max wants Mendoza sooner than later. You know what I mean?
And you never know. Shout out for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, you never know, right? You never know where maybe the players are a little upset and they see in Mendoza, but from what I've heard and what I've seen from Mendoza, the young man is just not ready.
He's got time, man.
You
guys have so much time.
He's just not ready. It's
just let him sit and learn from a guy like Kirk, man, and Kubiak. He's in good hands. Like you said too, your guys' whole line needs to gel. You guys got to figure out what's going on over there right now.
Yeah, you got to get the team together to give the young man more confidence. And he's having problems with the snap. with the backup center, you're not getting reps with the one. So if you're having problems with the backup center, you're going to have a problem, problems when you switch over to the first team center because
Right.
obviously it's taken some time with the second team, right? And the third team. So yeah, everybody wants to force the young man out there. But
is Meredith the backup center or playing with the twos right now?
Meredith is playing with the twos as the backup center right now.
Okay.
But they've had Trey Zoon lately, who's been right
which
guard.
I thought was weird.
Who's been right guard, right tackle. Now they got him taking a lot of snap.
You guys have like 5 centers, I think, or something like that. Guys that can play center on that squad right now.
There were a lot of high hopes on this coaching staff, and there still are. But there's things that just I guess the old man in me has seen throughout this franchise over and over again for 51 years that I've been a fan. I just don't understand a lot of it. I don't, the whole Meredith thing irritates me. This is a guy that was a UDFA, bounced off the, practice squad, back up, released, back on the practice squad, back up, finally found a home in 2024 and played like 7 or 8 games and was graded top 5 in the NFL.
Yeah, wasn't he a good guard, right?
At the guard
yes,
position.
he was.
I mean, he played very, very solid at the left. He played very solid at the right. He did his job. He didn't get penalties. Not a lot of pressures or sacks. I mean, the man did his job. And then you have Pete Carroll come in, you move him to center. And then year, so Pete Carroll come in, they switched him over to center and started him center and moved JPJ to right guard.
Rosetown had, like, according to Chip Kelly, Meredith was next Jason Kelsey. That's pretty high praise, man.
It is. But Rosetown, I have to ask.
I mean, we know about Chip, though.
Did Chip read that from a cue card, or was that like we need that info? Like we need that info. But I mean, look, Chip Kelly, he's obviously
who's holding up the cue card.
he's not the best NFL coach, but he is definitely a dude that knows football. And look. I think it's certainly possible that Meredith is legit, but I also think that it's unfortunate because that just kind of goes to show sometimes really good players go to situations that can't use them properly, and it's not always in our best interest as fanalists to look at some of these players and say, hey, just because that dude didn't work out with the Jets or just because that dude didn't work out with any other team, you need to assess them on the merits of their play and see, because they may well fit with your team and do really, really well. And I mean, I'll give a good example of a guy that had okay stats with the Jets and came to the Broncos and got himself a paycheck, and that is Jonathan Franklin Myers.
Yeah,
like that dude played out of his mind with the Broncos when he was here. Every year he was here. And, Sean Payton was like, singing his praises and his leadership skills and all that other kind of stuff. And that just goes to show that, one team can misuse and not necessarily absorb a player to maximize their talents. And when they go to another team and another coach that is capable of zoning in on those specific things that are great, then you're good to go. Just real quick, I did want to quickly address 75 Crazy Ray One's comment here, just because we have Broncos content here in the chat. Got a lot of Raiders fans, and it's awesome to see. But I want to pull out some of the Broncos comments and Chargers comments and Chiefs comments when we get them. Yes, I have jumped over to the Orange and Blue Network. I am directly affiliated with them. I would probably say a solid 50 to 60% of the talent on the Orange and Blue Network are pretty good friends of mine. A good portion of them were with me at some point in time on MHRT Network. So when I became an available free agent, as it were, we had discussions to have the Wild Wild West multi-stream across my channel, which, by the way, is Tukes and Touchdowns, a riff on the fact that I'm Canadian. You'll always see something to do with winter.
Tukes a beanie, people. I didn't know I had that.
Yeah, it is what it is. Look, DZ is slowly learning the Canadian vernacular here, and eventually he'll be able to come to Canada and fit right in. But a toque is basically that winter hat with like a pom pom on it. Basically, is long and the short of it is what we call a toque here, or just a winter hat in general. Either or works. But anywho, yes, I created my own channel. I'm now spun off live. So for those of you who are joining us, in the description down below, channel links are there for all of our channels. Raiders Rebel. Unfortunately, I hadn't added yours into it yet, but
No, you're good.
Raiders Unleashed. Just honestly search it. It's easy to find.
Yeah,
Yeah, Raiders Unleashed. Go find it. But we got Tukes and Touchdowns down below in the description. It's a budding new channel. Could definitely use the subs to get the reach out there whenever the show goes live. DZ's channel, Bolt Up with DZ, is down below as well. And then, of course, I got Nabman's channel below in the show notes as well. But yes, I am no longer with MHRT Network. I will not be streaming live, not affiliated in any way, shape, or form. The Wild Wild West was a show largely of my creation on the network, at least the show name, plus some other elements of it. So it was carved off and is now with me here on the
Richie, who's
Tukes and
OGs? Like
Touchdowns.
you, Captain Jack, Alex, and Coach
No,
Defense? Or
no. If you're talking the original Wild Wild West,
who was it?
It was me, Wi-Fi Willie.
Oh shoot!
Whoa! What?
Yeah.
I haven't heard in a long
What?
time.
I did not know that. I'm gonna have to go back and check some of those videos.
Me, Wi-Fi Willie.
Wow. Okay. Everybody starts somewhere.
Yeah, it was me, Wi-Fi Willie, and then it was what was the gentleman's name we had in the KC side? We had we used to call him Bootleg Andy Reid. He was a great dude too. I really liked him. And then he was affiliated with was it Chiefs Kingdom or one of the major outlets and affiliates there. He also has a Kansas City Royals channel on YouTube that he is huge. Jacob Milham, I believe, was the gentleman's name. I used to just call him Bootleg Andy Reid because basically if he put on about 50 pounds or more in his face, you'd kind of get the end. You get the end. He had the mustache and everything, man. And then we had Coach Defense of Lockdown Defense there as the Chargers representative back in the original OG group.
Yep, that was the last one. Choco. Gibbons. We are still looking for a Chiefs guy. Believe me, they don't grow on trees apparently.
No, the Chiefs guys and stuff are often believe it or not, for whatever reason, there seems to be very few Chiefs podcasts and or guys that are kind of in like the video space. There's quite a few beat writers and stuff, and some of our former hosts here on the show were basically behind the scenes writers that wanted to then come on camera and kind of test out the podcast space. But there are very, very few Chiefs folks that are kind of on actual podcasts, small or large, actually, and even fewer that want to join like a roundtable piece.
Yeah, what does make everybody's having that problem trying to find? There's a bunch of shows that are just Raiders, Chargers,
Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, and there's no Chiefs guy. Like there's like
no
4
Chiefs.
or 5 of them now. No Chiefs.
They hide. When you win 6 games, you gotta go into hiding.
Yeah, exactly. But anyways, that's kind of where we're at. And no, I'm no longer with MHRT Network. Channel name down below. Tukes and Touchdowns is the that's TOUQUES because again, Canada's like half French or something, and so they don't spell things right. So it is what it is.
Not to be confused with Twerks and Touchdowns.
Correct. Although I should probably jump on that and get the secondary, the backup channel going, right, just to kind of catch the audience.
Twerks and Touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
So. Yeah. So anywho, and then if you remember when Wi-Fi Willie dropped off DZ, that's when Captain Jack came in. Captain Jack and I have known each other for quite some time.
I used to see Wi-Fi Willie all over on YouTube. Now I don't see anything from him anymore. I don't know. but I used to see him like just
Yeah.
pop up all. I don't know.
Yeah, I still speak to both, by the way. Like they're still both, you
He'll
know,
he'll be
I'm
back
friendly with both.
he'll be
So
back now that football starts.
yeah.
Captain Jack's doing fine. He had something going on, but I think he had a live. I
He
think
had
like
a
a couple
3 or
days.
4 part live
Yeah,
stream the other day. I was really happy to see him back and
and he
and
looked normal. He looked
looking good.
yeah, he looked
So
ready to rock. Yeah.
that's what mattered right there.
Didn't he
He
get the
seemed
shit beat
healthy.
out of him at the?
No, that was like a rumor. I don't know what happened with him, but I'm assuming
I thought he got jumped at the Knicks game. He had both two black eyes for a while. He posted something on his Instagram saying that,
dude. Well, I know
yeah.
he's a Phillies fan,
And then
so
I heard somebody else posted, man, I told you not to wear that Spurs jersey to New York. So yeah, I think
are
he
you
was.
being serious right now, or are you joking?
Yeah, ask him.
I heard something similar actually.
Ask him,
I
Rich,
heard that
because
Who
he got
would
attacked.
attack an old man?
I heard they beat the shit out of him. Like, I mean,
Dude.
both his eyes were swollen. They were black.
Well, I saw the
underneath for
picture
a
of
long
that.
time. Like his whole face was, it was bad. And I don't know if it, if he was in an accident, was just joking. He went to the next game, or how it really happened. But yeah, I do believe that's why he was not
Another
streaming for a
reason
while.
to stay out of New York City.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Places are. Never mind.
Yeah.
I don't know. I would never attack an old man. No, never.
It's a sad world we live in.
Yeah,
even if you dislike the
sad,
jersey
sad.
they're wearing,
I mean,
at some point you got to draw a line. You know
And he
what I
was-
mean? Like,
and he was there with his walking thing, like. So from what like,
you're gonna make me like dig into this now. Thanks, Raider Rebel. Thanks a lot. Now I'm gonna be like, dude, did you get jumped by some stupid Knicks fans? Like,
yep, that's the impression I got. So I could be
So-
misquoting, but that's what I've.
who's
Yeah.
everybody playing in
come to-
preseason
come
game one?
together.
Falcons for the Broncos.
Are you guys going there? Yes, because
Yes.
yeah. And then Raider Rebel, who you guys playing?
We got the Cardinals
In Vegas or
in Vegas, which will be very interesting because Mike LaFleur was kind of that guy that was in the running for that coaching job as well, and he was supposed to have a second interview the Saturday before they interviewed with Clint Kubiak, and they canceled his interview. So that should be a very interesting matchup that I haven't heard a lot of people talking about. He's got something to show, right? You got something to prove, and then you got a guy that comes in that could have been the Raiders coach, and the Raiders went and got a number 1 pick, but our coach seems to be reluctant to play him, or he's not ready. And then they went and got Carson Beck, who Mendoza played in the national championship game. So there's a lot of riding on this preseason game.
And they there's a lot of Beck hype right now too.
Yeah, and then I thought he was the most quarterback ready coming out of the draft. I mean, his time at Georgia, his win-loss record, the time at Miami. I mean, the kid's played in a lot of games, and he hasn't lost a lot of games, right? Not some of those games are, that they lost some of those were his fault, but the kid's well prepared, can run an offense, and he showed it the other night in the preseason game. He looked very, very good out there.
I mean,
17
he
for
looked
19
really good, but those defenses were pretty.
Yeah, I mean the defenses are vanilla, but he was pretty solid. No turnovers. Only missed 2 incompletions, had 188 yards and a touchdown. So
now we're gonna have a Brissett.
So now,
competition.
Brissett, him, Gardner Minshew. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting.
There too?
Yeah, Gardner Minshew's over there as well. So
I did not know that. Wow,
it's gonna be an interesting time. And then,
dude, he wears the Newfie tuxedo.
Canadian tux.
That's the Canadian tux, the all jean top, jean bottom. We call it the Newfie tux here in Canada because that's an homage to the East Coasters that have a certain reputation about them.
I couldn't imagine wearing all jeans in snow, dude. That would drive me crazy.
Yeah, but that's what we call it here. It's the Newfie tux.
And I looked up. Chiefs are doing Rams. I guess they have.
They do.
They'll be Rams, and then we're going to Houston playing the Texans for preseason, which would be interesting.
That's good for us because we play Houston the following week, so. We get a little test of where you guys are, where we're at, so that'll help us.
I think it's going to be like super vanilla, dude, on like both sides. Jim's already said he's going to 15 starters are going to be held out. It's going to be a lot of guys, and you know what? To be fair and honest, like I don't like our backup quarterbacks. I'm not a big Trey Lance fan. So some are saying that he's been doing better. And then we have DJ, and I'm not going to even try to pronounce his last name. It's a Pauly last name. I like him. He's been doing really well, and they're completely two different styles. Like Lance is a guy that can use his legs, and DJU's got a really great deep ball. But I feel like them as backups aren't a great representation of like what we're doing. Now, this is a whole new scheme, right? So maybe they will show something. But I'm looking at like players, man. That's my key. I'm going to be like, okay, so-and-so's out there. I want to see what this guy can do, because just like all your teams, like I'm like, who's gonna take this left guard spot? Who's winning the left guard spot? You know, is there a backup quarterback controversy? Is like, can I call him DJU, can he take over for Trey Lance? Cornerbacks.
Sad. That would be so sad.
I mean, it would, right? God. We have like 4 cornerbacks that are like projected to make the team, but you know, teams usually carry 5, 6 in a room. And we've got a bunch of UDFAs that have been balling out these last 2 seasons that we're probably looking to make the 53. And then our 5th edge. Who's going to be the 5th edge? Like, is it going to be Kennard or is it going to be Trey Tucker? Like, who's going to step up? And a lot of fans are hoping it's Tucker. Same, I'm including. He's a 26-year-old that is like played everywhere. Like, started at JUCO, worked his way up. I mean, I think he led the nation in sacks last year, but it was in a MAC conference. So we'll see, dude. I'm excited.
But see, for you guys, how many, like, you don't have a lot of open roster spots, right? I mean, the Broncos are pretty much set. The Chargers are pretty much set. So, it's, preseason is not a lot of hype for you guys because
so
maybe
you're right.
Maybe 5 spots where, you might maybe 5 to 6 something that you're trying to look in the field.
Yeah, seeing like some spots that could be, yeah, exactly. You said it. Other than the left guard, so there is a competition at left guard. They're going to have these young guys out there. It's going to be Branson Taylor. It's going to be Coyote Awashika. I don't know if they hold him out because he's a vet.
Yeah.
But you're going to have these guys and you're going to be like, all right, dude, let's see. Because even the backups for Houston, it's kind of similar to Richie's team, Broncos. They got dogs out there, right? And from what I've been hearing and seeing, the O-line has been they've been getting beat like a drum in camp. And, they don't let them go full go. We talked about this on previous shows. What they'll do is the quarterback will hike the ball, and then you'll hear a whistle like 2 seconds later, but the play is still going. And the 2 seconds later is to have them disengage, like so they don't hurt themselves. You know what I mean? But yeah. So and then it's special teams. There's some wide receivers you want to see if like is Darius Davis. He's going into contract years. He's going to ball out on special teams. He's been looking good. KLS, a guy that I talked about all last offseason, was a huge disappointment. And then we're like, okay, he's coming into camp, and nobody was talking about him. And so we'll see, man. But yeah, like definitely not the excitement as much as like the Raiders, because you guys are going to be like, oh, this is all going to be all new, right? Like new scheme, new everything, new defense. And then for Richie's Broncos, I mean, yeah, like good luck making that 53.
Right.
Good luck. Like you're literally Richie's team. Any of those guys that get thrown on the practice squad will be poached. A lot. There's going to be guys poached off their team. Like, yeah, except for your centers, obviously. That's probably the only spot that.
I feel like that's kind of where my Raiders are too. I mean, you wouldn't think that, but the free agents that we brought in that we didn't pay a lot of money to. The UDFAs are, there's a couple of UDFAs like Cyan Sloan, he's making a name for himself. The receiver EJ Williams is out there, he's doing his thing. 6th round pick Malik Benson, he's been doing his thing out there. Yeah. So there's the receiving corps everybody thought that it was wrapped up, but I don't feel that's the case. And then the defensive line as well.
Can I interrupt? I want to ask you about the receiving corps real quick. because if I take my Charger fandom away, right, and just look at the players, because I'm as I'm getting older, I'm just becoming a fan of players, right? Like I'm obviously a Chargers fan, but I like players across the league. And there's a guy that you guys have in your wide receiver room that I heard wasn't doing too great in camp, but has the tools to be effing amazing, and that's Dante Thornton. Have you heard that same stuff that it wasn't looking too good in camp?
Dante Thornton is like all those Tennessee receivers, right? They don't teach them to run a route tree. It's basically
you said it. You said it.
Yeah. You're not developing these guys. You're not teaching them to run.
Can you let everybody know who's watching what this guy is? He's like what, 6'4"?
He's 6'4". He runs a 4.37. He's got crazy wingspan. But the catch is that nobody tells you is the man can't play basketball. He can't even dunk from what I heard. And I don't know if that's a fact, but
wow. So he must have like cement bricks.
Yeah. So he's not athletic. So you can have that speed, but if you don't have the fluidness, if you don't have the limberness, if you don't have the ability to go up and make those catches and out jump guys that are 6 foot with a 45-inch vertical, you're not going to come down with the ball.
A lot of safeties and cornerbacks.
Yeah,
right?
and even with that speed, if you can't create separation, that's a problem in the NFL. No matter how fast you are, if you're that fast and big and you can't create separation, that's a problem. And then if you do create separation, you got to hold on to the ball, and that's a bigger problem. There's been
he's still young.
A couple of times where he's dropped, in camp where I've heard he's dropped, wide open touchdowns in the back of the end zone, just falling through your hands. Dropping balls that should be caught. And then now he's missed the last 4 practices, I guess, with a hamstring thing. So I don't know if it's, that soft tissue is not good for those bigger guys. It doesn't look good for Dante Thornton. I mean, they put out a depth chart roster and they have him second behind,
they just don't behind? Make him like him.
They have him second behind
Naylor?
Yeah, behind Naylor. They have him second behind Naylor, and then Cedric Jackson behind him, who's been done nothing but show out all through camp.
I think Naylor's
6'2", he runs a 4.3. I heard he was clocked in high school at a 4.29, Cedric Jackson. So I mean, this man flies. He's got wheels and he can catch the ball, and he's making plays.
You're getting me excited about speed because
he's third on the depth chart. So, I just don't understand it. Speed is great, but you got to be able to finish, right? You got to be able to finish. You got to be able to create separation, or you're not going to get targets. And then, availability is the best ability.
Yeah,
so
bingo,
if you're having problems and you're behind on the depth chart on being able to create separation and catch the ball, not being out there is not helping you.
Unless you're Jalen Waddle.
Yeah, I just don't see.
Don't even get me started on that.
Waddle. I just don't see, unless you're spy tech trying to, not make yourself look as bad for some of these draft picks not hitting.
So can you guys admit
how he makes this team? There's so many better receivers than Dante Thornton on this team. Now the upside is great. If you can,
my favorite is Trey Tucker.
You can wait 2 years. If you can wait 2 years for Dante Thornton, but I mean, by then he's already been in the league 4 years. You know what I mean? So I just don't feel like it's.
So
worth
you
the
think
wait.
he's a potential cut? Or do you think they just hold on to him with the contract?
I think they might just hold on to him just
practice
because.
Squad him, maybe.
Yeah, and somebody else is gonna pick up a very damn good receiver, because there's receivers on this. We have nothing but speed on this team. I mean, we got Trey Tucker runs the 4.3.
Trey Tucker's quick.
Dante Thornton's in the 4.3s. Cedric Jackson's in the 4.3s. You bring over Speedy Naylor, who's like a 4.4 guy. So I mean, our whole wide receiver core minus Jack Besh is guys that are lightning, and then they bring in Brandon Thompson.
Poor Jack.
Another guy that
get a bad rap.
Yeah, another guy that's in the low 4.4s. So I mean, it's speed all over, but you got to be able to create separation. You got to be able to run route trees, and in this offense, it seems if you watch Seattle last year, it was a lot of timing routes, a lot of rhythm plays, and you gotta be in your spot when you need to be in your spot, and then you got to catch the ball. So
it's the same thing with this McDaniels offense. It's a lot of timing, a lot of rhythm stuff, and easier said than done, man.
Yep, and get the ball out quick. You gotta create separation. You gotta be in your window, and you're gonna get the ball with a chance to to run in the open field because a lot of them aren't stop routes or comeback routes or curl or hook routes. They're routes where you're trying to get lead the receiver, let them catch the ball on the run and use their speed because they're already at full speed, like Miami did with Waddle and Tyreek Hill, and same thing the Chiefs did with Tyreek Hill. You just you get them in motion and you let them get to full speed, and then you throw them the damn ball in space. Like,
you're not wrong. The Broncos are stacked, and I was going to ask Richie real quick about. There's a lot of hype. There's a lot of hype coming out of the camp about Pat Bryant. We all know who Pat Bryant is, but he's apparently making.
He's killing it. He's killing it. Yeah, he's killing it.
Which I'm hearing that people are predicting, right? We can all predict and whatever, right? But people are predicting that he might take that number 2 spot mid-season, and that would be away from either Cortland or Waddle. It's not going to be Waddle, but so it'll be Waddle and Pat Bryant.
It'll be, in my opinion, this is an interesting one. So the Broncos are in this interesting logjam, and I think that Sean Payton has proven that he values really good receivers, but he doesn't truly value the receiver position like the other teams normally do. Like he believes almost like what I believe. You've heard me say it a few times on the show, and that is. Robert, I have brought up several comments over time. I was actually wanting to bring up some of your comments as we're going to go into the Raiders side of things, because frankly, I thought some of them are really fitting of what I thought Rebel was probably going to get into. But we do try to split it up on the show between the 3 different teams, and we do try to bring up the Chiefs stuff, even though a Chiefs commentator won't join us live because, well, I'll let you fill in the blanks on that one. But getting back to Sean Payton and the wide receivers and the Broncos to directly answer your question, the long and the short of it is there's a real swell within Broncos country that is saying we traded Vele last year. Devon Vele, if you remember last year, for
balled out and then went to the Saints and we gave disappeared.
Him and then we kind of gave him he got like a bit of a Godfather offer from the Saints to kind of move over there. Long and the short of it is we're not going to have enough money given our roster situation and stuff to pay all the guys on the team. No. And we're certainly not going to have enough money to keep Cortland on the team and have another wide receiver get paid any real amount of money, in truth, if we're going to be honest, because Bo's contract is coming up in the next year or two, and you're going to have to start factoring that into the equation. Yeah. And so one idea that has been floated around, and this may not float well with Bo because Franklin and he are very good friends, like very tight and close. They're college teammates.
Troy might be on the chopping block.
Troy Franklin could well be one of those trade baits.
What?
And I'm not going to lie, I would not be upset. And this is why. We have Hakeem Butler on the team right now that has also been a dude that has, we've heard rumors, who is balling out at camp. He is a bigger box out style receiver, akin to like a Lil Jordan Humphrey, but with better hands. So kind of leaning more towards like a Cortland Sutton kind of deal rather than a Lil Jordan Humphrey, but he also has a size to block. Now, a lot of people don't realize that when Butler came into the league at first, he came into the NFL, went to UFL, and then came back. He was originally slotted by the team that he came into as a tight end. So he's got some blocking skills, which could very well fit our team as like a Lil Jordan Humphrey, big-bodied, kind of box-out possession receiver. And Cortland Sutton's not getting any younger.
Right.
And so Troy Franklin's spot would really be the most likely or most opportune spot to take over on the roster for a guy like Butler.
Damn, Hakeem Butler, 6'5", 227. Okay.
Yeah, he is. He's legit.
We got a couple tight ends like that too.
I didn't realize he was that big.
some big boys that are just blocking machines. Pretty much another tackle.
Yeah, so you got another tackle on the field that can also catch a ball. You got another tight end on the field that can kind of ebb and flow, move around. Long and the short of it is, every team needs a wide receiver willing to do the dirty work.
Yep.
Right?
Me.
Yeah, get it?
Me.
Every team needs a wide receiver willing to do that dirty work, willing to do the blocking in the run game. Locking out the side of the field to allow an end around to actually succeed and go downfield. Like all of these different types of plays and whatnot, you need a wide receiver.
You either better be able to do that, or you better be a diva. There's you know what I mean? Not a lot of in betweens.
And that's the problem we have right now is we got rid of that guy in Jacoby Myers last year, right? We let Jacoby
He wouldn't
Myers
block, right?
He was a blocking machine. He was the guy that did it all. Like he was blocking in the run game, he's blocking in the pass game. Like he does all the dirty work. He wears that hard hat every single game. And they went and got Jack Best in the second round, thinking he's going to be that guy. And last year, he only had 29 targets, caught 20 of them. We'll see what they do with them this year. But
can't you just say though that last year was a wash though for the rookies?
Yeah, for a lot of those rookies, the whole team. You can really say there wasn't much development from anybody. Like Tonka Hemingway, I think, is the only one that kind of produced. I guess you could say Darian Porter. He's looking a lot better in camp. So we had some guys that did get a little bit better, but as far as the offense and the offensive line, no, nobody got better. Nobody was out there. You brought in Tyler Lockett, who took reps away from Dante Thornton and Jack Best, which was what a stupid mistake. You're losing. You've already have 7, 8, 9 losses, and you bring in Tyler Lockett for what? What?
Because Pete Carroll.
Because Pete Carroll. We're gonna win 12 straight, and we're gonna make it to the playoffs. No, come on, man. You brought in Tyler Lockett to make Geno look good. That you brought in, and you didn't want yourself to look bad because Geno's not playing up to par, which a lot of us Raider fans already knew.
Isn't Geno struggling with the Jets right now too?
He's struggling with the Jets. He struggled his whole career, man. Geno was only good in Seattle.
It took him a decade to take off, though. By the way, to be honest with everybody. It took him 10 years.
It wasn't even that. He sat behind, he sat and was on the sideline with Pete Carroll the whole time. And when they got rid of, Russell Wilson, you still had a Super Bowl caliber team. You still had that Super Bowl defense, right? You still had a Super Bowl offense. You still had DK Metcalf. You had Tyler Lockett, right? You went and got Jackson Smith and Jigba, and you had a decent offensive line. Now, as that Super Bowl team started to dwindle, you started seeing the real Geno Smith, right? And that's just my take on it. I could be wrong.
Didn't they deal with injuries his last year there? Or no, am I wrong?
No, I don't think he's really had a bunch of injuries.
No, not him, the team.
Oh, the team, yeah. They started dealing with injuries, and then, you started getting those rookies that are coming around that, want those new deals that, you drafted during that playoff run that they had for a while. So I think it was all, Geno Smith is always been an if quarterback. If everything is great around you, if you have the defense to get you more opportunities than the other team, you can hand the ball off. You can make some big plays because he can make big plays. But I feel like it's just always been that type of guy. And I knew the minute they drafted him and paid him that money, I was like, a 3rd round pick for Geno Smith. We got Aiden O'Connell in the building. I just don't understand how they keep going past this. So
speaking of AOC, or O'Connell, is he starting tomorrow? Do you know? Or
I have no idea what is going on with our quarterback situation. Okay. I keep hearing the only thing I've heard from Kirk Cousins is he can throw the ball to Brock Bowers. Yay! I can throw the ball to Brock Bowers. Put me in a quarterback. He can throw the ball to Brock Bowers. Come on, man. Any quarterback can look good throwing the ball to Brock Bowers. So if your quarterback is only making plays in preseason, in practices, and we'll see. But if the only thing that I hear constantly is, oh man, Kirk Cousins was killing it again. He had 5 passes to Brock Bowers, 3 of them were touchdowns. Okay, but what about the rest of the team? What about Jalen Naylor, right? What about Jack Best? Are you getting these guys involved? Are you throwing the ball out of the backfield? Because if that's your only target, defenses are going to jump on that quick and be like, okay, let's just Brock. Bracket Brock, say that 5 times fast, and I got it right the 3rd time. But yeah, let's just bracket Brock and make other people try to beat us. Make Kurt beat us with his arm, because he's not going to beat you with his legs, right? If you get pressure on him, he's not going to get away. He's not going to roll out. I mean, I don't know if y'all seen the video that went viral of them running, line drills, 5, 10, 15 and back, dumps. He was, oh my
we
God.
called those taters growing up.
Look up that video. Look up that video. There is everybody on the team has got to the line, and they're passing him this way. And he gets to the line, and they're passing him this way. And he just gets farther and farther behind to where they're almost catching him. On their last drill. It is bad. So if you're telling me that's our quarterback for the season, I thought this was a team that could win 8, 9, 10 games. If everything went right with the running game and Brock Bowers and the defense plays where I think they're going to play this year. But I'm starting to question all of it, because I just don't see Kirk Cousins. I mean, his biggest pass that I've seen or heard of has been 25 yards. So you can't throw the ball deep. Like teams are just going to destroy us defensive wise. They're going to key in on Ashton Genty like they did last year, take away Brock Bowers, and then what do you have? So there's a lot of questions I have right now. Mendoza doesn't, like I said, doesn't really look like he's up to par with the part. Hondo Carpenter said something today that scared the hell out of me. He said,
doesn't he always scare the fan base by saying weird stuff?
He said, Fernando Mendoza, you can tell the frustration and the anger building when he doesn't make the play. Right?
He's a competitor, though.
You can see the anger in the fire. No, it's not good.
He's got to let it go. He's got to learn to let
you're a rookie, bro. Calm down. You got 2 quarterbacks that are in front of you. There's no reason to be this, and that's scaring me a lot, because now you're going to get this young man. That's how you ruin these quarterbacks. And he said, he's that kind of guy where when he doesn't make the play, you can see the wheels spinning in his head. You can see, the frustration building, and you can see him saying, oh my God, I can't do that, right? I can't do that. I can't do that to this team and these fans. And he wants to win for everybody else. And, that's a problem. You're putting a lot of pressure on this young man. The fan
I got
base,
a name for you, Raider Unleashed.
Yeah.
You may not like the name I'm going to throw out, but it's a guy that played the game the same way. Tony Romo.
Okay.
He had the same problem. He had an abundance of talent. He actually was he was a very good quarterback, if we're being honest.
I remember Tony Romo.
He was a really, really good quarterback, drinking aside now and everything. We can kind of put that out of the way. No, Tony Romo for the Cowboys.
I mean, in college, though.
Oh, yeah. But when you look at how he played with the Cowboys, he had them playing at a pretty good level, and he had them playing with like a subpar team. And Jerry Jones was in his heyday then, and he basically fielded trash teams a lot of the times because he couldn't get out of his own way. But he had the same problem.
I'm not going to critique Mendoza until I see a full season out of him.
No, but
he's going to deal with issues. He's a young kid, dude.
He needs to be able. Mendoza right now needs to find an NFL veteran quarterback that he can bounce off as a mentor.
He's got one.
No, but I mean a dude that's not trying to get his job. Like Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is there, and he doesn't want to lose the starting.
Richie, I guarantee they called Kirk and they were like, "Look, dude, we're gonna pay you this money. You're starting, and we're planning on to compete this year because you don't tell a vet like that we're gonna just
we're tanking.
Yeah, you don't
come over here. We're gonna tank. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. You get 20 mil. You just gotta hang out.
When I look at the Raiders roster. Like they brought in a lot of vets. To me, it's like it's a very and this isn't it's a very Telesco-esque type of roster, in my opinion.
Win now, rebuild.
No, it's a very top heavy team. Like I think the Raiders will do really well if they stay healthy. I think they have, there's a new scheme. There's no positions on there really I don't dislike or aren't as good or whatever. It's just the attrition, which will catch up, and especially this season with our schedule. But as for Mendoza, I think they just said, like, look, dude, like you're here for a year, dude, to just let this kid ride the pine and learn from you. You don't
Yeah.
think so, Rich?
Well, my point is you need an unbiased person to touch base with and bounce stuff off of. So I'll give you an example. Bo Nix has apparently, from what has come out in Broncos country, because Peyton Manning and his family still lives in the Denver area, apparently Bo Nix and Peyton Manning are in regular contact. Like, I don't mean just like, hey, every once in a while. I mean, like, Bo is literally reaching out and bouncing ideas off of Peyton Manning to kind of learn that mental toughness that's required at the NFL in the quarterback position. And now Peyton Manning has zero skin in the game. Peyton Manning is not sitting there saying, I don't want this young dude taking over my job or blah, blah, blah. Peyton Manning is the type of quarterback that I'm kind of referring to. So another guy, as an example, I'm going to throw a guy that I actually think will make a pretty darn good coach in the NFL one day is Derek Carr.
I mean, he's coaching for UCLA right now.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just saying is I actually think that he would make a great NFL coach one day.
I don't know. He
Like,
sounded like Timo Gruden. If you guys listen to his presser, I thought I was listening to like a guy that was copying Gruden. I'm
That's
like,
exactly what you're going to get, that Gruden style, but
Yeah.
in a different. He's not going to yell and cuss at you. It's more Christian like. He's gonna gonna pump you up then beat you down.
Yeah.
should we answer Arnie's question in a second?
Yeah, I'm going to in just one sec here, but I truly think that he needs like a Derek Carr. He needs a guy that can be a mentor without skin in the game to kind of to guide him on the path where he can learn to forget.
Blaine
those
just
plays.
said he has Brady in the. I mean, does it just? I wonder if he really does that. He probably has Brady's number. Like, but do you think Mendoza is like, I got to call Brady and bounce this off of him, or do you think he might be like, I don't know, I don't want to show any weakness or kind of thing?
The problem with Brady is that he is an owner in the team, and I fear that there's he's a boss or he's my boss or whatever the case may be mentality. I'm not saying that's it. I'm saying that I fear that may be the vertical that has been played out within the Raiders organization. I'm not guaranteeing it. I'm just saying I fear that that's the case. Arnie, you have asked a wonderful question before we jump over, though.
Can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because, I felt since day one when they brought in Kirk Cousins that they should go with Aiden O'Connell from the start because I feel like the kid has been in the building. He deserves it with all he's been through, right? He's still in there. He's still, still got his head in the game. And have Kirk Cousins on the bench, like you said. Have Kirk Cousins on the bench showing this young man when plays go good, when plays go bad. This is why you do that, right? You can show how you prepare for a game and not be the starter, right? Because he's been the starter his whole life. So Kirk Cousins is gonna prepare like he's the starter, even if he's not the starter. And Mendoza is gonna learn from that. There's no reason to have a competition, but if you listen to these quarterbacks speak, right, there's no competition to them, which I don't like either because Aiden O'Connell says, "Oh, well, we're not competing against each other. We're competing to make everybody in the room better." Then what are you doing in the NFL? What are you doing? If you're not out here to compete for a starting job, then go sit on the couch, bro. Go sit on the couch. But Mendoza's saying the same thing. We're not competing against each other. We're competing to make everybody better. So it seems to me like they've already said, Kurt's going to be the guy, but we haven't seen anything from Kurt to say he could still be the guy. And to me, that's a problem, right? If you're only running Kirk Cousins with the ones and you're not giving Fernando Mendoza these reps, he's had one day with reps with the ones. Aiden O'Connell's had 0, right? You don't know who the best quarterback in your room is. You know what Kirk Cousins has done from his body of work, but that body of work is coming 2 years removed off an ACL injury.
Hey,
right?
are you sure that
18 and 16 the year, the year he went to the Falcons, interceptions for touchdowns, 18 and 16. And then he got benched, So
Rebel, are you sure that Mendoza's only had like one little thing with the ones?
He's had one. That was when they sat Kirk Cousins out. That was the only day that he ran with the ones.
Correct.
That's
correct.
That's pretty telling
on
their plans. And they're
that's what I mean. They basically have said this is Cousins' team. We're going with Cousins for the year, and whatever happens. But like you alluded to, it seems like they're trying to win now. So which one are you trying to do? Because if you're trying to win now, shouldn't you know who the best quarterback is that gives you the best opportunity to win? Because it might be somebody on the bench, right? Aiden O'Connell, Again, Friday, 5 touchdowns, 3 in the red zone, 2 outside of the red zone, more than anybody else on the field. Saturday, again, no turnovers, 3 touchdowns. Yesterday in practice, a 55-yard touchdown. There hasn't been one quarterback in the Raiders room that's thrown a 55-yard touchdown. Aiden O'Connell's thrown 2 now.
You think Cousins even has that arm?
I don't think he has that arm left. His arm is not. Like if you go back and watch some of the radio videos from go check out Vegas Sports Today, right? They put out everything they clip. And y'all make the decision on Kirk Cousins' arm because I just don't see it. It's slow. The ball's floating. And there's been a lot of tip balls in practice. And tip balls tell me 2 things. You got damn good defenders or somebody's floating the ball, right? So somebody's not getting the ball there when they need to get the ball there. So the Raiders have a lot of questions. Like
Always throwing it late.
And I see Davis on laughing, haha, AOC isn't that guy. But we don't know AOC isn't that guy, right? Like I said, that a rookie kid that throws
such a big bag from all the Raider guys.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know if that kid is the man, but he's been out there in practice showing it, right?
Like, I don't know what. I don't think he
I'm not saying he's a superstar or could be a superstar, but you can be a guy that can in a decent offense with decent coaching and finally decent players around you and a better defense. I think he can be better what he's been in the past.
We'll see. And if you know if your starters are playing tomorrow, or is it just going to be backups?
Clint Kubiak said some starters will play, so I don't know if it's
but it's not going to be. He said every series or something.
Basically everybody will play a little bit, so it'll probably be a snap or 2, which I don't know. Maybe Kirk Cousins. I don't know why you would have to have Kirk Cousins out there if you're already planning on him being the starter. Right? Doesn't make sense.
Let's just quickly shotgun through this real quick. I will cover off the Broncos. 3 guys that I think are dogs on each team. Broncos, I'm going to say, as much as everyone wants the offensive line, that's not where I'm at. I actually think J.K. Dobbins would certainly qualify into that.
He almost broke his pinky promise, but luckily
he did. But I think that he's one of those guys. I think he's one of those dudes that just refuses to give up, and he's the type of guy you kind of want on your team. I think he has to be included. Yeah, I think he has to be included. He's too good of a runner to not include in a conversation like that. Another guy that I think needs to be factored in and worked into that conversation for my Broncos is a guy like Jaquan McMillan. He's a guy that started off as an undrafted free agent and has worked his way basically to who's probably going to be either the highest or one of the highest paid slot cornerbacks in the NFL. He is that good. Like he is very, very good at what he does. And then another guy, and I'm going to go defense on this one as well because I think that's important. I could go Bo Nix, but I'm not going to on the offensive side. I'm going to go the defensive side and go Zach Allen. I think Zach Allen came over to the Broncos, and he is just a force.
I'm a big fan of him.
That guy is a force on the field. Yeah. And by the way, my honorable mention to Bo Nix there is you literally cannot teach that clutch gene.
It's true.
That he has. It is an uncoachable gene. Like you either have it or you don't. And he's got it. And so
far my boy doesn't have it in the playoffs.
Yeah. And so I'm not going to make any comments on Herbert, but you kind of alluded to it there, right?
I mean, regular season, he's had many coming back from the fourth quarter, but at the playoffs, not so much.
Yeah. So those are my Broncos 3. DZ, over to you.
This is kind of easy, but I was going to be like, I'll just go with the generic guys, but I don't know. I mean, Derwin James, I can't leave him out. He's the heart and soul of the defense. There's not a lot of household names on our defense, but Derwin James is just a stud. He plays literally can play any position on the defensive side of the ball. He's more of a box guy now, kind of your nickel kind of dude. I think you're going to see him with a lot of sacks this year. Go with another guy. You guys might hate this, but I think Herbert's a dog, dude. The guy plays hurt. I've watched I don't know how many quarterbacks in this league get hurt that are these elite quarterbacks that take themselves out of games or whatever, right? Just miss weeks and miss games. That's not Herbert's MO, dude. Like some of the games I've watched that the guy had his sternum crushed in or whatever in that KC game, and he got up and like was wincing and like still threw a freaking rocket, just pure adrenaline. Like he is a dog, and it just there's that. And then I'm just gonna I'll stay on the offense side of the ball. Joe Alt, man. Joe Alt is my other guy. I have like a love affair with him. No homo, but like he's just like everything that you want in an offensive lineman. And yeah, those are the three. Rebel,
right.
On to you, buddy.
Rebel, you're up.
What's the question? Who are the dogs on our team?
Yeah, just three dogs that come to your mind.
3 dogs on our team. That's easy. Brock Bowers, Ashton Genty, and Max Crosby.
There you go. Max is mainstay. He's got that engine, dude.
And I honestly think that is a difficult one to argue against. Like that is like bang, bang, bang. Like 100%.
It's Brock Bowers is uncoverable pretty much from anybody in the league. Maybe Patrick.
Dude, and Genty not getting hit
Ashton
behind the
Genty
line of scrimmage.
It's hard to tackle. I mean, if you give him some room and give him space, he's gonna run people over. He's gonna make people miss. He's gonna destroy the NFL this year. If things are the way they're supposed to be.
Look, let's put it this way: when you say your tight end is uncoverable, and you have to go down to the list to basically the top cornerback in the league is the only guy that's actually been able to cause real damage against him, that's saying something. Like Pat Surtain is literally the only guy that I've seen that has actually like basically shut him down. And that's one dude, like in the entire league. That's one guy. Like that says a lot. So, obviously he is a home run hit for you guys. Now, let's quickly circle back and let's start covering off our preseason games to knock out. Let's go 4 highlights or 5 highlights. Let's just do 5 highlights of the game in more of a point form kind of piece here for each of our teams in terms of things that we know are happening, things that might happen, or some kind of combination of them. I'll kind of go first and kind of give a couple highlights here for my Broncos versus Falcons. Some of them are going to be Broncos related. Some will be Falcons related. So number 1, Bo Nix is being kept under wraps. He is not going to be playing in the first preseason game. Number 1, by the way, the Falcons Stadium is AstroTurf, if I'm not mistaken, and is not grass. Bo is coming off of an injury, and there's already been some general kind of comments being made as he's coming back and as part of his trajectory and return to field and contact.
Sean said it. I think he was like, that's not the surface I really want to put my quarterback out there on right now.
No. And it has been confirmed that Bo will play following week against Green Bay on the turf in Mile High. So that is, we have a plan. There is a direction to get Bo back in and playing at full speed and whatnot. But AstroTurf, not going to happen is the short answer. And I'm not going to lie. I agree. Like, I agree. It is not what you want a guy on the return trajectory without any major issues. You don't want him to re-injure himself. Number 2 is Tua. Mr. Concussion himself is going to be making his new system debut with the Falcons against my Denver Broncos.
Yeah, I heard against your starting defense too.
Yes. So
good luck with that.
It seems that the Falcons don't want him to make it to the regular season. That's my takeaway for what it's worth. I'm just throwing it out there.
They don't really have a choice though, do they? I mean,
no, they don't.
Michael Penix is still on the injury list. He hasn't been practicing, and they could throw a UDFA out there.
Who did they sign? They signed somebody else too.
I heard they were going to throw
Cooper Rush.
Cooper Rush.
But I heard they were running with a UDFA. That's who they were going to throw out in the game. So
I like Cooper Rush.
I don't know. Yeah, Cooper Rush has got that dog in him. But Tua, Tua's got some weapons over there. You got Bijan Robinson. You got
Kyle
weapons.
Pitts,
Kyle Pitts,
Drake London.
Drake London. You got
Yeah.
weapons galore on that
And
offense.
on defense, they've
You got
got
a
some
top
dudes too.
like a top 10 offensive line that for the last 3 years. So, if I don't know if he can just throw the ball, just throw the ball. But it was up and down last year in Miami, so that's rough for him.
So that's number 2. Number 3 is Denver's center position. This is now an emergency for the team. Effectively, this is
who's going to be starting?
This is dire straits. Effectively, okay. Now, to throw it out there, I'm going to throw out the names that we are likely looking at here. We have Gavin Ortega, who's an undrafted free agent that we brought in, who has actually been looking quite good, I've been told, at that position. But again, he's a UDFA. You never expect a UDFA to be like the guy with the starters, right? So that's a huge leap from a guy that's like, I may not make the team, to, hey, dude, welcome to the NFL.
It's a big leap.
Like, you know what I mean? It's like, anyways, something to keep in mind there. We also have a veteran in Calvin Throckmorton, who is basically an all-purpose guy across both center and guard positions.
He's been with you guys for a minute, hasn't
and he's
he?
been with us for a little while.
Okay.
So he's one of those Sean Payton dudes that Sean likes to kind of bring with him and stuff. And so he's a guy that, may well step in at that spot. And of course, as we discussed early in the show, none other than the belly himself, Mr. Quinn Miners, is also stepping into that role and filling in the center position for my Denver Broncos. Now, there was a period of time when Quinn came into the league before he had really made that major leap forward at the guard position, that he was getting serious looks at the center position on the Broncos team. And a lot of people don't realize this. And then he took a massive leap in year 3 at the guard position and went from I'm doing okay to I'm an all pro. And it was basically put to rest that he was no longer going to be seeing center snaps ever. So that's another thing to keep in mind, which is Miners is there, Ortega is there, and Throckmorton is there. But nonetheless, we're on our 4th string, okay? Like, let's not sugarcoat this. This is not good. Like, most teams would tank a season if they ended up on their 4th string center. So my Denver Broncos need to make sure that their center position is locked up and that we have done what we need to do in order to sort it out. Okay? So
sounds like a problem.
That is a problem. Like I'm not sugarcoating it. I'm not trying to say, hey, nothing to see here. Like, that's a legitimate problem, and it is a big problem because that center position, DZ, we've said it multiple times on the show. Raiders Rebel, you've been in the chat when we've said it multiple times on the show, which is simple, and it's really straightforward. The center position on the offensive line is the quarterback of that offensive line. And it is a tough thing to do, to basically rip the quarterback out and say, all right, Rook, go for it.
Yeah. It's an extremely important position, man.
Yeah, it's just such a critical spot.
Yeah.
Number 4 is the Falcons quarterback sideline. It's just like my highlights of the game that are kind of coming up. Penix is being held back with injuries and other things like that. You got the backup rotation, where you have basically Tua and Cooper Rush as your only options there. And then you have late game reps with the UDFA or undrafted rookie Jack Strand, who is, an unknown effectively at this point here within the NFL. But let's just say that the Falcons quarterback position as it stands today is very much akin to my Broncos center position in terms of they're really going down kind of the bottom of the barrel, as it were, in terms of bringing guys up to try to start. And my defense is not the one that you want to start saying, hey, let's wing it. Because you guys said earlier in the show, there will for sure be guys that are cut from my 53-man roster with the Denver Broncos that will likely be picked up by other teams, and there's a good chance that they will start for some of those teams that they're picked up by. Like, it is just facts. When you have a very deep roster and you've basically curated a roster with depth, and churn depth the way that the Broncos have done over the last couple of years, that's what you end up with. And number 5, last and not least,
if I'm the Broncos,
is,
I'm calling the Raiders for Jordan Meredith.
yeah, yeah,
What you doing, Jordan Meredith over there?
yeah. And then number 5 is the wide receiver roster shuffles, just in general.
Yeah.
So you have Pat Bryant for my Denver Broncos, who is just in an absolute just rocket ship trajectory right now in terms of success and how he's played and how he's looked in camp. It is legit. Like it's not just like a one-off play here or there. He is doing it consistently. Troy Franklin kind of starting to fall back on the depth chart. And then we also have another interesting one, by the way, which is the kind of the unsung thing that most folks in like media land really haven't really been talking all that much about. And that is the fact that Marvin Mims Jr. is in his last year of his deal. And the Denver Broncos right now are in this interesting spot where we don't really have a de facto backup option on our roster to fill in for Marvin Mims. And so there's like a complete massive audition in the return game for both. Is Marvin Mims going to be a guy in the return game? Are we going to want to force him back over into a more traditional wide receiver role? And if he is not the return guy anymore from the team, who is? And so I'm going to throw out a couple names out there, and then I will throw it over to you guys for your comments on these here. Obviously, we have Marvin Mims, who's our all-pro returner on the team as it stands right now. We have Jonah Coleman, Colby Katzis, and Cameron Ross, who will all get major, major opportunities in the return game for my Denver Broncos. Now, I don't believe that we're going to have Jonah Coleman be there. He'll be kind of like the break glass option, in my opinion, because we're going to want him as a true running back option for the team, which basically then leaves Colby Katzis and Cameron Ross, who, by the way, have both turned some heads in their respective kind of key spots by either having good returns or, in Cameron Ross's perspective, not only good returns, but also looking fairly good at the position that they're slotted for on the roster. So those are my 5.
You went way more in depth than I
Right. I should have took notes.
Yeah.
I should have took notes.
Someone said there's Faded Raider. Thank you for reminding us about the meteor shower. I was going to try to go outside later and see if it was still happening, if I could even see anything. I'm surrounded by trees, so I could rarely see anything up in the sky. Richie,
sorry, real quick on that, Faded. Is there a spot like globally where that's visible better than others? Like let's just say I'm further north.
Yeah, he's in Canada, so
yeah, so
probably no better place to see him.
No, but I'm saying like sometimes where these meteor showers hit, they're coming into a certain part of the atmosphere. So if I'm further north, sometimes I can see it better than folks in the U.S. Yeah. But then other times, if they're coming in at a trajectory that's like better angled or suited for being south, I won't see it at all.
We have so much light pollution, especially on the East Coast.
Yeah.
Also, fun thing, we were supposed to lose gravity for 7 seconds. I don't know if you guys saw that in your algorithms for the last few months. It was like
seconds?
Yeah. This thing has been going.
We just start floating for a second. You'll know why.
I guess we were supposed to lose gravity for like 7 seconds. It would be enough for somebody to go 60 feet in the air.
Wow.
This crazy theory.
So all of a sudden you start slamming your head on your roof and shit.
I think they were seeing even soil in houses too, and I'm like,
what?
It was this thing going around all over Facebook, Instagram. I even just saw it on X like a few days ago, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And knock on wood, awesome. It hasn't happened. But if that happened, like, God,
I mean, shit. I'm gonna get a strap, some ratchet straps, and tie them around the porch just in case.
I'd be sick if all my trucks went up in there 60 feet.
All the trucks start disappearing. It'd be crazy, bro.
But it was the meteor shower, and then there was a solar eclipse today, but I don't think we could see it in the States or North America. I'm not sure. I think Spain went blackout. Like Spain had it cross right over them or something.
Yeah, until they fall back down, like Faden said, you'd be floating 60 feet in the air, and then gravity comes back. That's a long drop, bro. That's a long drop.
Yeah, no bueno.
Lose a lot of bodies. Lose a lot of bodies.
Well, that might be fun, though.
It might be fun for a second, but if it stayed like that, but then probably just go so high till you explode from the pressure.
I have a bunch of trees in my area, so that could be kind of fun.
Yeah, I do too.
Just go outside, grab onto a tree branch as I pass by.
I don't know. It's still pretty frightening to think about. But then I looked this up too. I'm like asking all the AIs. I'm like, is this true? Could this happen? And they're like, no. But who knows?
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
you never know.
Yeah. So those are my 5.
Yeah, you went hard in the paint on that.
So the first one is the Broncos don't have a center. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, no center.
We have a
bunch
center.
of backups.
We have a center.
I think you're still probably going to see Jonah Coleman run a little bit, maybe, or maybe next week, probably.
I'm not sure. I have to dig into that because I was trying to find some information before the show.
Dude, I want to see him. I want to see the Raiders' new guy, Mike Washington.
Yep.
I want to see our new guy, well, newish, but Keaton
Arkansas
Mitchell.
boy.
I want to see Keaton Mitchell do some stuff. But, yeah, I don't know how safe or unsafe or how these teams – dude, I don't know. I listened to a little bit of Sean Payton stuff. I saw some stuff with the Raiders. I think I saw some stuff with the Chiefs. They're not giving anything out. We're just going to turn on the TV tomorrow. I mean, my game's 8:00 my time.
I hate that they don't have the confidence to let us record stuff like other teams. Like the Browns are out there showing 7-on-7s, 11-on-11s. They're not showing the whole thing, but they're at least showing plays, right? The big plays. And the Raiders, they won't show nothing, bro.
That's what I heard, and this has been going back for a few. This has been going back for a few seasons with the Raiders. They don't show anything. Like because I know the Chargers, we have like a bunch of beat reporters and people are filming stuff nonstop, showing us stuff. Because go back to the scuffles. Chiefs were getting into scuffles. Broncos got into some scuffles. Mm-hmm. Raiders got into scuffles. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we didn't have to. And then, boom, Chargers got in a scuffle. We had like our new right guard slap somebody across the face. So that was fun. But Harbaugh got our strength and conditioning guy, Ben Herbert, who's a psycho, and he had them running and doing push-ups and planks and stuff, like teaching them like they were kids. So I thought that was kind of funny. I kind of went over my preseason stuff. If I could go over it again quickly, if Rebel, you want me to do that first, or do you want to go over yours?
Yeah, you can go.
Yeah, because I kind of went over it first. Richie, you, like I said, you went hard in the paint.
I wasn't prepared, so I'll be guessing.
Like highlights and stuff. It's more. I'm just looking for stuff. Like I am gonna be goo gagging over rookies, UDFA guys. Like who's got a chance to make the 53 or even get on the practice squad? And then I'm seeing vets that have been kind of crappy this last season, like go back in 2025 season. We've been balling out in camp, and I'm like, oh, it's a contract year. That makes sense. So funny how that works. So I'm looking at all O-line, man. I'm intrigued, especially by some of these guys that we got in the 6th and 7th round in the draft.
Like
guys, no, World is that he's shut down for the year because of his injury.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's my dude that I'm like, if I can keep Joe Alt goes to left tackle, World can be that
to the right. Yeah,
tackle.
he's the right. Yeah.
And you know what, Richie, kind of on that. We had Travis Burke. He's another massive human that we brought in for O-line. He's Joe Alt's backup, not even getting reps at left tackle.
What?
Yeah. I'm like, nothing's making sense for me what the Chargers are doing right now. And it's yeah. I'm the left side of the line is I'm getting PTSD just thinking about it.
I mean,
From the
Who
center,
has the glossy photos?
dude, they've had glossy photos for
Like
years.
I don't understand. Like what? Like Slater was a great fit potentially at the
He's
right
injury
tackle
prone.
spot. He's injury prone. You're less likely to get the number one guy on the right hand side of the line. You're able to extend your career a little bit and do really well. He was a natural right tackle in college. He had an injury. He then came back and then got hurt again.
He's had like bicep. He's had
And
all
so
kinds of
like
pec.
at some point you got to do what's right for the player if you think he's really good, and you got to help him protect himself.
I think they did another little tidbit with Taylor Lewan in the strength room, and Joel, Sean Slater, and Khalil Mack. They're the three strongest guys on the team. I think that Rashawn Slater is pushing himself too hard, like lifting too much. Like he's got a famous clip in college of like front squatting like 1,000,000 pounds or something, whatever.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yep.
And people are like us fans are like, wow, that was so cool. And now years later, now that we've seen what's happened to him, we're like, hang on, dude. I hope you're not still doing this shit. Like, please stop. And he is. They have him single arm bench pressing 207 pounds. That's what they're doing right now. I don't know. So you heard maybe that he must be talking about. Anyways, so yeah, I'm watching O-line. I'm watching cornerbacks, guys. We have 4 cornerbacks in our room that are guaranteed locks because one of them plays special teams. So we've got like, I think it's like 3 or 4 UDFAs that have a shot of making the cornerback room. Avery Smith, Rodney Shelley, Nico Reed, Eric Rogers. Let's see if one of these guys shows up. I mean, there's 3 weeks to do it. I forget when cut down the day is. I talked about the quarterback battle briefly. I just want to see competent quarterback play, to be honest with you guys. I don't want to see last preseason sucked so hard for us. Like Trey Lance is just cheeks. DJU struggled. Like I just want a normal backup that can just run the vanilla scheme and put up points, make this thing look functional, right? Like,
yeah.
Like Raider Rebel they have a great situation. They have Kirk Cousins, Mendoza, Aiden O'Connell. These guys have all, done it at high levels. And then Richie, unfortunately, Stiddy kind of, did his
crap
thing.
the bed.
Yeah, but
crap the bed. Yeah,
for preseason would be great. And he's going to run Webb's new thing. And, before Bo's ready to get on the field, right? So just want to see competent play, dude. And I have a feeling that Houston's going to have some really solid defenders out there. And then fifth edge, we got Khalil Mack, Tuli Pelotu, our first-round pick, Akeem Mesidor, and then I think they're keeping Bud Dupree, which fans do not want them to keep, but he's a great run defender. So it's going to be Kyle Kennard, who is our last year's 4th-round pick, who has been just a letdown. And then our UDFA, who's coming in with our DC, Nadame Tucker, who all the fans are rooting for. We want this guy to win. But he's on the smaller side. He's 6'2", but the guy's got speed. He's got a little bit of bend. They've been showing the drills. This dude has got the bend, man. And I'm like, that's what you need. We have all these power guys. We need a dude with bend and speed. So we'll see. But one of these guys, if they make it, they have to play special teams. And then, kind of throw in the funsies. I want to see the receivers. Like, are they going to, let's see what we got this Brendan Thompson kid who runs a 4.2, he's got speed and he can run some routes too. Like, so he was 1,000-yard receiver in the SEC. He's only I think he's only 5'9" or something. He's not a tall guy, but he's been balling. But yeah, man, just health and watch these guys ball out. I did want to say they brought in they signed a guy who has an interesting story. He's bounced around the league. I think he was on the Raiders for a hot second. Andre Carter the third or the second.
Yeah.
Remember that guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's I think he's just here for camp, to be honest with you guys. But he went to West Point, so while he pursues the NFL, his military obligation is put in, is held in check. So I thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, this guy must not want to go into active duty because he's been on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This will be his sixth team since 23. So he's bouncing around. So it's like teams are giving him a shot, but nothing's really sticking. It was the Vikings, Raiders, Lions, Dolphins, Commanders, and now it's the Chargers. He's a 6'6", 256 pounds. And I think, like, I heard in one of the beat reporters said, like, one of his first practices, he's batting balls down. So, let's see, man. Can a sixth time be the charm for the West Point grad to make it? I mean, he finished in 2021. He had like 15 and a half sacks with the Army. Like, it's just like something's there where he hasn't gotten together, right? So
he played well for us. He got some pressure on the quarterbacks. He wasn't in the rotation more enough. I thought he should have been out there more.
That was last or 2 years ago.
2 years ago, yeah. He did pretty good for us. He had some flashes. He just didn't get a lot of time out there. So
it's possible that he could pop with a team that is a little bit more in lockstep with what they're looking for, right? You got to remember the Raiders have gone through a bunch of changes in coaching staffs in a good, consecutively now. And I'm not that's not a knock, Rebel. This is just facts at this point.
No, it's facts.
Yeah, it's just facts at this point. And so when you end up with a guy that is maybe in a certain mold, you need a coaching staff that's willing to kind of work with them. You know what I mean? Like, he can do this, and then you put him in that position on a regular basis to kind of fill that void on your team. So that's my
damn, there's already some cousins hate in the chat.
Ooh. Yeah. But I think that's something to keep in mind.
And then before Rebel takes away, I'm always looking at our rosters on everybody's team, right? I'm like looking at the Raiders guys, I'm looking at the Broncos guys, the Chiefs, and I was looking. We have our third round pick from last year, Caldwell. He's supposed to have he's supposed to be better this season just because what they're going to have him do opposed to what they had him last year. And I'm already a fan of his. I was like, yeah, he's 6'1", 340 pounds. I was like, he's a big boy, man. He's not super tall. That's big. And I'm like looking, he's the second heaviest in our division. The Chiefs have a guy, but I don't know if the Chiefs guy is going to be a starter at all. Brevard, 6'3", 346. So I was like looking, I'm like, there's some big boys. Yeah, but that's the biggest I saw. So I don't know. What's his name? The worthless sack of crap that we had in O-line last year. Mekhi Becton or whatever. He could have been bigger, but he was worthless, and he's still a free agent for a reason. Yeah. So anyways, Raider Rebel, on to you, buddy.
Yep.
What was the question?
What are say like one to five things that you're looking to see in this game?
Number one's got to be the quarterback, but we're not going to do that because more than likely Kirk Cousins plays maybe a series or two if he plays at all. Mendoza, are they sending him out there with the twos, or are you putting Aiden out there with the threes? So it just seems like Kirk Cousins the guy, right? They haven't came out and said it. They kind of said he was going to be the guy. So I need to see something out of the quarterback. I need to see that Kirk Cousins can at least still roll out of the pocket, right? You're going to do a lot of play action. You're going to do, this offense calls for a lot of play action, a lot of RPOs, and you got to be able to roll out and play on time and rhythm. And if you're slow rolling out, the play's dead. you're going to get ate up in the NFL. Once you roll out of the pocket and defensive linemen are catching you, we're dead in the water, right? So, and then you got to throw out Fernando, who's not ready, or Aiden O'Connell, who's, hasn't taken any reps with the first team and just expected a guy to come in and do what he's done the last 3 years, come in and be that guy, right? Come save us. So, number one is what they're going to do with the quarterback situation. Is it going to be Mendoza coming out, as a starter? Does Kirk play at all? And then the rookies. There's a lot of rookies on defense. Hezekiah Massis, the 5th-round pick, has been destroying it in camp. He's had his hand on every ball, it seems like, in practice. So, he's a guy that's been showing out. They've moved him at several positions. Gerard McCoy, the fourth round pick that should have been a 1st-round pick, has been out there every single practice. They're not holding him back. He looks like he's 100% healthy and ready to go.
You think he's going to get some reps in preseason?
I do believe he'll get a lot of reps in this preseason. Nice. I feel like they're going to test him and see what he has and see where he's at. So, I don't know how much, but they've been battling back and forth with the ones. Last year's corner, Darian Porter, he's a big guy as well at 6'3", 6'4".
Iowa State.
4.3 speed. So, he's come around, he's come along. And then some UDFAs from last year, Greedy Vance in the backfield, he's been making plays. So I feel like the Raiders are going to have to try to hide some guys on the practice squad that ain't going to stay on the practice squad very long. And that's a good thing and a bad thing for us, because are you making the right decision and, putting a guy that's young with the upside? Or are you taking a veteran because you feel like it's a win now situation with a 38-year-old quarterback? So I have a lot of questions coming.
Rebel, did you say Hezekiah Massis was a UDFA guy? Or
he was 5th-round pick.
Okay, but, that's the guy to Cal.
Greedy Vance was a UDFA last year at a USC.
I liked him, by the way.
Yeah, Greedy Vance. He's been physical. He's been playing very well as well. 2nd-round pick. We got to see what's going on there. He's mostly been running with the 2s and 3s, trading Stooks, getting a little bit of burn with the 1s the last couple of days. So a lot of questions from our rookie and our UDFA class, and a lot of questions with, the Raiders have told everybody it's a rebuild. Are you going to stay true to your word and keep younger guys that are showing potential over guys that are, in their 30s or, on their last couple of years? So I want to see that. And then, this offensive line, what is the offensive line?
What time is your game on?
It is 7 o'clock my time. So 5 o'clock their time, I think. 6.
I'm definitely going to try to catch everybody's preseason.
Yeah, I like to watch everybody too.
The first game is probably going to suck, but for you guys, rightfully so, to be super excited for your first one with this stuff. But, with the starters, that's when you start seeing more. But something that's kind of weird, all 3 of our preseason games are against opponents that we play in the regular season. So you got to think our staff sees that and they're going to be like, let's be as vanilla, like basic Blue Bunny vanilla, like no sprinkles, no nothing, because we don't want to give anything away to for regular season stuff. But Raider Night, I'm definitely going to try to watch some of that.
I am too. I think I'm going to watch the whole thing.
I was going to do an illegal stream to do the game, but I think I might just get NFL Plus. I think it's $6.99 for the month, and then I can watch the preseason games, or I'll stream it. I don't know. I love when the ticket, because I could do the quad screens or whatever. That would have been perfect for preseason if they're all on. But yeah, I'm excited to watch. I think the Raiders have a lot of fun, exciting pieces.
Yeah, I don't know how many spots are open, but special teams, we have 2 new kickers. They went out and got
Tokyo Toe.
They got Matt Gay and Tokyo Toe. From what I've heard, neither one of them have been consistent. That's a problem for us. I'd rather go back and get Daniel Carlson. Just call him up and be like, yo, you don't need to know any system. You're just kicking, because it's come back and kick for us.
Did he retire, or is he he's just floating?
They let him go, and he wasn't the consistent Daniel Carlson he's been over the years, but he's only missed 3 or 4 kicks most his whole entire career in a season.
That's just so weird to see them give up 50, on him, man.
Yeah, an Oakland Raider, there's only 4 in the building, or 3 now, but to see him give up on him to bring in a guy like like Matt Gay, who's up there, who's a guy that can, pretty consistent throughout his career, but he's getting up there, right? He's getting up there. The leg's getting weaker. It's not as strong. He can't kick for anything over 53 yards. And then you bring in, the Tokyo Toe, and he's the same way. He's been very consistent in college. I think he only missed one kick at Hawaii, but you can't kick anything over 53 yards or, 52 yards. So what do you do when you get in those situations? You just punt the ball, you go for it. Like, I think you're hurting our team when you don't have guys that could at least give you a chance from 57, 58. I mean, nowadays 60, 65. Because
I think Richie's got a guy that kicks 70. There was a 73-yarder. Richie, was that your guy? Was it last season or something? I want to say it was either a Broncos kicker or somebody visiting Denver. And he's like, I just kicked a 73-yarder, or was it at camp or something? I'm like,
Cam Little did that for Jacksonville last year.
I was like, oh my God.
70-yarder in a game, I do believe.
Yeah.
Or in a preseason game. Yeah, my Arkansas boy, Cam Little.
I mean, if you can't kick over 50, you better be like ice through your vein, and you got to be like dead nuts.
Yeah,
always.
every time. Like you can't miss those. So I think both of them missed it. We had a practice at Allegiant Stadium last night. I think both kickers missed kicks, one from 50, one from like 54 or something. Like, you just can't do that. You can't miss those, because Carlson, didn't miss those. And the ones he did miss in his defense was because of a horrible offensive line and blocking scheme. Like, we had a bad blocking scheme. The special teams coordinator got fired in week 3. That says a lot. So for them to let him go, it just made no sense. I mean, just pay the man his money, bring him back.
Cowboys kickers nuts,
so that's just another thing that's going to hurt us. So I definitely want to see a lot of kicks in the kicking game and see who's going to be out there, how consistent they are, and then the defense. You got Rob Leonard, first-time defensive coach, so I'm sure they're not going to show a lot out there of what they're running. It's going to be a lot of vanilla defense, but I do want to see, are they getting to the quarterback or trying to get to the quarterback, right? Can they cover?
You guys switched base defenses, didn't you? Also
3-4 base defense, which doesn't really mean a lot, because all the coaches have said we're basically going to be
nickel or dime.
Yeah, we're going to be in offset schemes all the time. So that maybe 25 to 30% you see them in a 3-4, and then the rest of the time they're in sub packages.
Yep. That's what people get caught up way too much. Like, oh my God, get switched to 3-4 or 4-3. And I'm like, yeah, sure. It changes like nose tackle and maybe a few other stuff. But I'm like, it's minuscule from what the rest of the defense runs most of the time.
Correct. But what you do end up with is that those 1 to 2 roster spots, and I'm not saying it's all, but I'm saying those 1 to 2 roster spots, you then need to shift your focus in terms of who they are and what they can do. So, like, for example, when you're in some base defenses that require that heavy dude in the middle versus like the light guys up front or some variation thereof.
Every team has that one dude.
Like, no, not really.
We don't.
They don't. No, they don't. And here's
we're looking
example.
for that guy right now. We're trying to find somebody to play that zero.
Heavy,
You're saying that all your guys play 3 tech, no 0. You don't have any 0 techs or 1 tech?
Barely. I don't think we have anybody that can really play the 1. I mean, Adam Butler.
Let's see.
But Adam Butler is 34 years old. Like, he's not what he used to be. So
Walter Rike is the largest defensive lineman on my team.
Tonka Hemingway's 200 and not even 290 pounds. He's not playing.
What about Benito Jones?
He's not playing 0 tech.
Throw his ass at 0.
Benito we brought in, and I'm sure that's where they've been using him. But I don't know if do you really keep a guy on the roster for a nose base that you're going to run 20 to 30% of the time. You know what I mean?
You got Antonio Maffei. Oh no, that's your guard. What am I looking at?
Antonio Maffei would be great.
Right.
We had Lackey Tassie, and they let Lackey Tassie go, and he was 6'8", 374 pounds. That's perfect. Just sit him there. Just you don't have to do nothing, bro. Just move your feet and push people into the quarterback.
JJ Keys.
Here, let me put this in perspective. The Denver Broncos had a guy on our team that his nickname was Pot Roast. Okay?
It's a great nickname.
Okay, it is the greatest nickname for a defensive lineman. Okay, his name was Terrence Knighton. He was the bomb. Okay, now
Like it.
what made Terrence Knighton so unique, and this is what I'm getting at. This is why it's that one or two roster spots that I'm getting at when I make the comment like this. His official listed playing weight was 335 to 354. Okay, that was his listed playing weight.
The Philly.
However, it was very, very clearly documented by almost every teammate that that was a lie.
Oh,
His actual
what?
playing weight was between 360 and 370.
Oh,
It's a massive human.
Okay.
that's a
So
big
he
boy.
was a ginormous human being. Now, what made Terrence Knighton so unique was not just the fact that he was like literally a refrigerator on the field, like the dude was just enormous, but he could also from the middle of the field there rush the passer. He had like a couple of sacks every year, including a few batted passes. So this is what I mean by those one or two roster spots, right?
Yeah.
It's like if you're playing one defensive scheme, you're gonna have like one or two dudes that can kind of fill that kind of a role, or
Yeah.
or that role adjacent, right?
Yeah.
And then if you play the other one, you're gonna be like, we'll get one bigger guy, but he's kind of still got to be mobile, and then we're gonna have like the other dude that's more of like the hybrid guy. And so it really depends on what your base defense is going to be because, you know, Rebel, you're correct. Like we're trying to find the dude. Do you know a guy? Like it's,
Fine,
because
give us one.
yeah, because you're trying to find that guy that's like the Terrence Knighton. You're trying to find a guy that can fill that gap, play that zero, play that one, and also get at the passer from time to time. Like not all the time, but like every once in a while, you want that guy.
Yeah,
We brought in
feel like
Dalvin.
Go ahead.
Oh, so I said we brought in Dalvin Tomlinson. He's going to be that guy. Like, I think him or Caldwell. If we need him to be, they'll probably be that zero guy. If they need him to line up zero, that one technique. But for the most part, most of these guys are just going to run a three tech.
I'm hoping they use JJ Pegues in that position. I know they went and got Benito Jones. He's up there in age. They drafted Brandon Cleveland, I do believe, in the 7th round. He's a guy that's athletic, but he's not. He's more like kind of a 2-eye or a 1 than the 0, but I'm sure could play that position with his athleticism. That would
Yeah.
be good. It would be nice for if a 7th round pick makes the team and gives you some production. But other than that, they don't really have it. So I'm hoping they use JJ Pegues. JJ Pegues came out of Ole Miss. He was a guy that's what they used him for in the middle, get pressure on the quarterback. They also used him on the offense as a fullback to block. Very athletic, got those basketball skills and wrestling skills. So I'm hoping JJ Pegues steps up and
Still holding out hope for Vita Vea.
and kind of takes that role. Yeah, Vita Vea. I don't believe we're in that running, but if anybody was to get him, it does make the most sense for the Raiders, right? John Spytek and him have a very good relationship. They won a Super Bowl together. Tom Brady won a Super Bowl with him as well.
He's got connections. That's for sure.
There's connections in the Vegas, in the Vegas area for sure. So, how good are those connections? I guess we'll find out if they go get him. But I just don't see. I feel like the Raiders have too many question marks to go get a Vita Vea. For us, that's if you feel like, okay, this team is better than what we thought and we need this guy in the middle, that's going to be, the missing piece to us winning games or actually competing in the division for once or making it to a playoff, then yeah, go get him. But
all I say is just keep him away from this guy's team.
They can't afford him. I'm not worried about that.
Vea on the Broncos.
Yeah,
no, God, that would be.
I'm telling you right now, the one guy that I think that we would do is we would probably trade DJ Jones for Vea, and then add a little sweetener on it, like not much, just a little bit, because they're almost the same guy, and we could totally make that happen. Now, DJ Jones is a staple in the locker room. He's like one of those dudes that's like that stabling force. So that would be a huge hit to the locker room. But then Vita Vea is also a stabling force in the locker room and all that stuff. So you're kind of trading one guy for a slight upgrade in another guy with Vita Vea. And then the delta in cap then, just as an example, is basically the exact cap dollar that, say, cutting Stidham would be, and then you're in the same position you are now.
I think it's like you Broncos #1, Rams #2. Like I don't want them going there because it's like said
Right.
California team, and then there's connections with the Raiders. Yeah. Anyways, just stay in Tampa, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably just stay in Tampa because
I think he will.
I don't see any team taking on a $22 million cap hit. I don't see Tampa releasing him and paying the $22 million.
He wants a new contract too,
and yeah, he's getting 17 now. He wants a new contract, so he's probably looking at what 2-3, probably a 3-year deal worth $60 million plus. Nobody's going to pay that and have to pay
better have void years or something.
Yeah, and have to pay a $22 million cap hit, and on top of it, you have to trade for him.
And you're sending away probably
you're not
capital.
You're not giving him a $60 million contract. Like you're actually having to trade capital for him. So if you have a player that you could like you said, sweeten the deal and make it where it's a 5th or 6th round pick, and a player, then I can see I can see teams possibly doing it if Tampa Bay's willing to eat some of that cap hit or half of it, but they don't want to get rid of him, so I don't see them doing that at all.
I agree. So, this is preseason game. We're not going to get into score predictions or anything stupid like that. Preseason games are really for each of our teams to assess the talent, look at the starters, test out like new schemes, all that kind of stuff. This is not the time to start getting into making ridiculous score predictions. This is not what this is for. And so we're gonna leave the show there for today and kind of cap that off with our general kind of consensus. Here's what we're looking out for. Here's some players and all that sort of stuff. Now, next week's show, that's where it gets super interesting. And honestly, like this week's show, I'm always excited for because this is like I said to DZ at the beginning of the show, this is when for me, like the season kind of starts, right? Like preseason game is like, oh my gosh, like this is real football now, right?
Yeah.
But where it gets really real, and this is where like some of the most fun conversations come from, is the analysis of the day or the week after the preseason game on the show. That is like, I'm giddy for that kind of stuff. Like that is like the greatest stuff because you get to see young up and coming players either prove you right or prove you wrong or give you some hope or whatever the case may be. This is where you get to start seeing whether or not that new scheme that you've heard so much about to kind of gauge where it fits on the field and all that kind of stuff. So next week, guys, is a must-see on the show here for the Wild Wild West, where we're going to start comparing what we believe to what we see and all that sort of stuff. And that's where the rubber meets the road, as they say, or another saying that we won't say live on YouTube, but something about hitting a fan. And we'll go from there. But anyways, guys, we really do appreciate you joining the show. We are going to end it here. Raiders Rebel, really do appreciate you jumping in, especially at the last minute, filling in and representing your Las Vegas Raiders. You and I want to have a quick chat, not right after the show, but later on in the week if we can, to discuss a couple things. But honestly, this is a great show. Love having Rebel on here. Love having him repping the Raiders and doing the thing. DZ, as always, love the Chargers content. And everyone in the chat, down below, number one, there's a thumbs button. It looks kind of like this, okay? A little bit like this, like, go ahead and click it. It's free and easy and helps all of our channels succeed and reach more NFL and AFC West fans just like yourself. Directly to the left and a little bit over is this other really cool button that says subscribe, okay? Go ahead and click that too, because that also helps our channels. And it is something you can do for free that helps all of us out. All channels are down below in the description that are affiliated with the show. Orange and Blue Network, Tukes and Touchdowns, Bolt Up with DZ. You have Navman, which is Raider Shield Family, and Raiders Rebel. You can literally do a search in YouTube in the search bar.
It's Raiders Unleashed, though, right?
It's Raiders Unleashed, but it's Raiders Rebel. You can find them both, actually, because he's got such a name for himself that you just, type it in and go. You can track him down anywhere. Subscribe to all of those channels. It really, truly does help all of us out and reach more fans just like yourself. And next week, We got a great show for you. And until next week, where the West Side's the best side. Peace.